a demon god is reincarnated as a boy and plans to conquer the modern world. The story opens with a necromancer on a rampage, killing all the men and warriors. He is called the Corpse God and lives up to the name as he ruthlessly slaughters the men without cause. Unfortunately for him, the church is ready to take him down, and so they summon their mightiest hero, Knight Shagrua, to slay him. When Shagrua meets the necromancer on the battlefield, it appears that they have similar powers and magic. The Corpse God accuses Shagrua of faking righteousness, pointing out that he too is a murderer that mindlessly does the church's bidding. The Demon King desires a world where children are happy and free from the limitations set by the church and their knights. He is resolute in seeing this dream become a reality and is ready to kill anyone that stands in his way, even if it makes him a villain. The two opponents are quite evenly matched, but after an intense magical battle and assistance from a powerful sorcerer, Shagrua defeats the Demon King. The necromancer wakes up in a different world and is confused. He soon realizes that he has been reincarnated as a boy who has a slit throat and can't talk because of this. He goes out and explores this new futuristic world. In comparison to his former world, he notices the joy of the children and how no one appears to be oppressed. Soon, people notice the bloodstains on him, and the police are notified. They arrive and try to help him, but he's unable to understand them initially. Eventually, he gets the hang of things by tapping into his new body's memories and realizes the boy's name is Polka. The police are still trying to assist him when suddenly, a girl comes out of the blue and snatches him from them. She takes him to an alley with a friendly demeanor the entire time. After introducing herself as Misaki and confirming that he's alive and well, Polka thanks her, but she tells him not to because she's only come to kill him again. It appears that she was the one who slit his throat the first time and has now come to finish the job properly. As she draws her bloody weapon, her friendly expression instantly changes into a maniacal one, and Polka immediately takes to his heels. Elsewhere, a guy named Takumi is watching the entire thing from the camera of a drone and anticipates Polka's death so he can receive payment for a successful hit. Polka manages to find a hiding spot and is confused as to why she would want him dead. He feels helpless as he can't sense any magic in this new world. Soon, Misaki finds him and attacks him with her knives. He manages to hold his own for a while as he uses a steel pipe to defend himself. However, soon enough, she stabs him in the leg, and the dreams of a peaceful, safe world flash before his eyes again. Regardless, he gets to his feet and flees again. As he tries to escape the assassin who is hot on his heels, he enters a strange-looking room. Misaki enters not long after and informs him that it's an execution room. He still possesses his evil eye, and he sees the souls of the people that have been murdered in the room. Enraged by Misaki's utter disregard for human life, along with the fact that he feels he should be the only one with the right to kill, he suddenly regains his magical powers and uses a giant demon hand to kill the assassin. Meanwhile, in his former world, Shagrua is not satisfied that he could not kill the Demon King's soul. However, he's told that eradicating the Corpse God's presence is sufficient. Regardless, he still believes that the Demon King is alive elsewhere, and he's right, because he's reincarnated as Polka and has regained his magic powers after drawing energy from the spirits in the execution room, along with Misaki's. Corpse God, now in Polka's body, reminisces about his former life in the other world. He was born with an evil eye, which caused his parents to sell him. All he ever wanted was a peaceful life, but he could not enjoy that because of his power. Later, he was forced to fight in battles, and over time, the dark magic turned his body into a skeleton. He decided to live in seclusion in a cave as a result, until one day, he encountered some children in a terrible state. He provided them with food and nurtured them back to health as they lived with him. For some time, he lived a peaceful life until the church killed the children because they believed he had possessed them. The series of events caused him to spiral down the dark path again, taking revenge on the church and the knights. Still, he wasn't happy and desired a different life, so he mastered reincarnation magic and waited for the one who would kill him because he couldn't die naturally. Meanwhile, back in reality, Takumi watches Misaki's supernatural murder and informs his boss, Clarissa. Shortly, she arrives at the murder scene with an armed team. Polka had been trying to revive her so he doesn't get in trouble and jeopardize the chances of a peaceful life, but Clarissa and her team arrive and interrogate him. After seeing his magical abilities, they are about to engage him when they're informed of tragic news. A nursery home is currently on fire, and when Polka gets to know of this, he asks to be taken to the location so he can help save the children. Upon getting there, he uses his demon hands to catapult himself into the burning building. He then sees sees the spirits of the children's parents and turns them into skeletons to help pick up the children, before using a giant skeleton hand to safely lower them down. A crowd that was watching was astonished by the supernatural sighting and took pictures. Afterward, Poka sneaks out without anyone noticing, and the paramedics and firemen do the rest. Misaki finally wakes up, and Poka asks them how he can live a peaceful life. Clarissa tells him that he needs a lot of money for that, and he agrees. Following the series of events, Clarissa assigns Misaki and Takumi to help the corpse god settle into the modern world. Clarissa gives the corpse god an apartment in the abandoned building as she's the owner of the place. Takumi and Misaki help him move into the place along with the help of skeletons he's conjured. Even though they've all made a silent pact to not attack each other anymore, Takumi is still convinced that the god is dangerous and not to be trusted. After settling in, Takumi asks him how he's comfortable staying in the same place as Misaki, who attempted to kill him. He responds by saying that he spoke with Poka's spirit and he asked him to forgive her. More so, Clarissa and Misaki resolve not to accept any assassination jobs on Poka again. The corpse god is curious to find out who ordered the hit on Poka, but since Clarissa won't disclose this, he focuses on ways to earn money so he can live peacefully in the town. A while later, they're approached by a gang member who begs for protection from assassins, and Poka accepts the job. Misaki is more interested when she discovers that the assassins are the same ones that killed her parents. When they arrive at the hideout, Misaki is shot, but doesn't die because she's now somewhat of a zombie. After successfully subduing the assassins, the corpse god reveals that he merely accepted the job because the children's spirits begged him to slay the assassins. On learning this, Takumi's bias changes, and he sees that the corpse god might not be all bad after all. Later that night, Misaki and Poka engage in conversation as Takumi secretly observes them. Meanwhile, Clarissa finally cuts all ties with the client that ordered Poka's assassination, but is convinced that there's something peculiar about the boy. Elsewhere, the rest of the gang members are attacked by lemmings, and when the police arrive, they inform two secret operatives who were undercover pretending to be gang members as well. Poka then informs Misaki of other special powers she now possesses, apart from fast healing, and she goes on to demonstrate a parasitic bite. After the police find the gang members and the corpse god tangled up together, the secret operatives conclude that something supernatural might be going on. Viral pictures of walking skeletons, giant skeleton hands, and footprints of lemmings have come to their notice, and they decide to investigate. Even with all the evidence at their disposal, the investigators still believe that the person behind the sightings is an ordinary human. The corpse god finally removes Poka's soul from Tamuki's drone and puts it in a toy and tells the boy's spirit that he needs to borrow his identity a little longer. He soon realizes he needs more mana and discovers that gemstones are rich in them, so he decides to save enough money to purchase enough gems. One of the inspectors, named Ares, confronts Misaki and Poka in search of Takumi, but when he tries to confiscate Takumi's drone, Poka challenges him. Ares isn't an ordinary cop. He's very skilled and even more dangerous than gangsters. He tells Poka and Misaki that Takumi isn't one to be trusted, but while he's still trying to convince them to reveal his location, Misaki attacks him, and the two use the opportunity to escape. Afterward, Takumi confirms Ares' statement and admits that he would betray them if his life is threatened. However, he doesn't care too much about that, claiming that no secret is greater than a friend's life. Iwanome, the head of the investigation team, is giving Clarissa a hard time at her bar, as he believes she is linked to the supernatural sightings. Shortly, Poka and Misaki arrive, and Ares sends Iwanome a description of the people he suspects. The inspector immediately feigns ignorance and instead offers them drinks to buy time for the rest of his team. Soon, they arrive and corner the kids for interrogation, but just then the lights go off and Poka senses a powerful being's presence. Suddenly, the infamous Lemmings reveals himself from the darkness. That brings an end to today's recap. See you in the next one.